Hey everyone, Melissa here, and I'm so happy to be back with you again on the Cocoa Vanilla Studio YouTube channel. So it's my turn today for Throwback Thursday, which is such a great concept because it means that we get to dive into our Cocoa Vanilla Studio stash and pull out some older collections and work with them. So I wasn't sure which collection to use, so I thought I'd have a bit of fun on the Facebook group. And so last week on Wednesday I put a poll up and I asked the members of the group to vote on which collection they thought I should work with, and I gave them 4 options. I gave them Happiness, Midnight, Bohemian Dream, and More Than Words. And they chose Happiness, which is actually the collection that I have the most of, so I was quite happy with that. But then a few comments came up and a few likes and thumbs up saying that I should do a mashup. So I thought I didn't want to just do that because I had asked for the poll and people had voted. They'd taken that time to vote. So what I said I'd do was I would use Happiness, but I would also incorporate the other 3 collections as well. So first I'll show you what I've got left of Happiness. This is the paper, aside from the cut aparts, which I've got here. And I've just gone through and put them into their colours, and I've got bits from the paper stack and the 12x12 sheets. So as you can see, not that much, but like I say, this is more than I've got for some of the other collections. So that was my favourite paper ever, and the B side is that, and I just adore that paper. And then a bit more of the stripe. So those are the papers. For the cut aparts, I'll show you them next. And I just keep everything in a 12x12 bag so I can pull them out. Still got a bit there. Love that. So there's fussy cutting opportunities with these butterflies. I could also cut apart these frames. I love that paper though. So I might have to add some of this to my paper scraps pile. Then I have a lot of the die cut titles left, but that's always good. I have a few of the clear stickers. I have one flare button with Weekend on it. I have some of the ephemera or die cut pieces, die cut ephemera. So I've used a lot, as you can see, but there's still a few bits left. There's another cut apart. I just love that. And I've probably got, I don't know, a third of the stickers left. So that's Happiness. And then I went through and I thought, right, we're going to make this work. We're going to make it work for me because I'm the one creating. So I just pulled 1 or 2 items from each collection. So this is Midnight. So not that much there, but it's quite soft, whereas Happiness is very bold, but we can see what we can do. I could be sneaky and use the die cut titles. When we compare them to Happiness will be a lot bolder, I'm presuming. Yeah, so Happiness is quite bold and Midnight is a bit more subtle, but still very similar. And then from More Than Words, I have pulled the stamp set and I thought I could incorporate that. And then Bohemian Dream, I've got this piece of chipboard. So I've got the word beautiful, R, and an ampersand. So we can incorporate something from each of these, then that will achieve my purpose of focusing on Happiness but also doing a mashup. Now I thought, because I don't know how I'm going to create with this, well no I do know because I have thought about it, I am going to have to use a white background because obviously there's no 12x12 paper, and I thought just to be a bit different and use items that are deep in my stash, I will do some manual die cutting on my Sizzix Big Shot. So I think this is from my favourite things, and I think there's a stamp set that goes with it, but it's triangles and it's really cute. And the other option was to use these Tim Holtz Alterations dies, and I quite like that one. I think these are called, yeah, Scribbles and Splat. So the actual size is that. So I'm not sure, I don't think I've ever cut this one, but this could add some interesting background to my white cardstock, which I will probably do mixed media as well because that'll take this a bit further. So that's the idea that I've got. I've got a photo in mind. I haven't printed it yet, but you'll see it when I get into it. Okay, so I've got my white cardstock and I'm wanting to add some mixed media because I think that's going to be the best way to incorporate the small pieces of paper that we'll be cutting. So I'm just using some Lindy's Gang, what are they called? Shakers. So these are powders that you shake and then you spray water on them, which activates them. Now, I haven't gessoed my background paper because I don't always like the look that you get on top of gesso with these magicals. They seem to lose their metallic shine. Well, I've found that anyway. So I'm just trying it without, and I had to pull out some packaging just to help spread it around a bit because I didn't want to oversaturate my paper with water because I didn't have gesso. So I probably need to get some kind of mixed media background paper. I think that would really help. So you can see there's gold within that powder or that shaker, and that's what I love about these products, is that there is other colours in them. So I've done pink and it's got the gold in it. Then I'm doing a couple of magical powders. This one is a purple. It's quite concentrated, and so I'm not going to go too crazy with where I place it, just in a couple of places here. And then I always use my heat gun to dry them off, and I think that helps get the other colours or the shine part of it happening, the metallic-y part. And then I'm using a blue, and I probably could have added a bit more blue, but I haven't. This one it isn't a flat colour, but it looks like it is, but when it dries, it is definitely more metallic. So just drying that off there. And it looks like a hot mess, but Sue Plum, who is also on the design team, has assured me that every mixed media project goes through an ugly phase, or I call it a hot mess. So I'm adding some of this white Delusion spray. It's not as intense as like the acrylic ink, but it just adds a subtleness, and I think it brings back a bit more of the white and helps tie this all together. And yeah, it's going to come together soon when I add the pattern paper back on top of it. So drying that off as well. This sometimes doesn't dry that well. It dries too clear and I have trouble seeing it, but in this instance it seems to sit above the magical shakers and powders and looks quite good. So just drying that off. Okay, so here we have my photo, and I've chosen this photo from probably a year ago actually, 2020, of just Ava and Azaria in bed together, snuggled under some blankets. And then I used the triangle die. I decided that was the one. It was, because I only had scraps left, I was going to get a lot more out of it than if I'd cut all those scribble shapes. And it cut really nicely as well. So I'm just placing them, just mixing them up, not putting any of the same patterns together. Not sure what I'm doing right here. Probably should have cut that out, sorry. Yeah, probably deciding what to use, looking for my glue. That may have been it. So then I'm just adding a little bit of liquid adhesive in the middle of them, and then I'm going to go away to my sewing machine and use some hot pink thread and stitch through the middle in lines. So yeah, I put these all over the page. I don't show that whole process though because it's pretty boring. It's just me gluing. I don't worry about matching where the colours are in the background. I think it all comes together. So there we've got it there. It doesn't look that pink in this video, but trust me it is, and you'll probably see it better in the photos at the end. This is the largest piece of paper that I have, and aside from the cut apart that I had with the frames, but the largest scrap, and so this pinky red tone is going to work perfectly. Couldn't find my edge distresser, but you can always use the edge of your scissors. And now I'm working with the stamp set from More Than Words. So I love this large floral piece, and so I'm going to heat emboss it with some gold metallic powder, and I think this one is just American Crafts Powell powder. So I couldn't find another paintbrush. My kids have been using them, but often I'll get a paintbrush and just brush away the excess of the powder that seems to sit around the edge of the stamp. So now for my favourite part of heat embossing, which is the actual embossing, and I love watching it fast forwarded in my videos. So you'll see it soon turn liquidy and melt. That's what happens when you use your heat gun on it, and it's just a really beautiful effect. So there it is there. And then I'm just trying to dust away some of that excess powder and see if it's melted, but I think you need to activate it with the actual glue from the stamp pad. So I never know when it's done. There seem to be with these metallic ones, you get a little bit of grit or kind of glittery bits left in. You can't melt them, so that's fine. It's part of the look. Slightly off camera here, sorry, but I'm just fussy cutting this out. And one thing you could do is paint the floral piece, or paint what you have embossed, because the embossing will resist the paint, so you'd be able to paint within the lines. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, just trimming it out with my favourite scissors to do my fussy cutting. As always, I'm turning the paper, not the scissors, and that's the best way to fussy cut. So it's going to look really cute. I love the gold. I think it helps draw out the gold in the background, which is very subtle. I did think about adding gold splatters, but I thought, no, I'm going to focus more on the white splatters instead of the gold. So I'm adding some craft foam, and that enables me to lift this up. I did think about lifting up all the edges of the triangles, but I like them flat because I'm going to embellish them with some of those clear stickers very soon. So just working out where to put this, and I like it there above the photo. And now I've got this piece of chipboard from Bohemian Dream. It says beautiful. It is quite hard to get out of this packaging, probably because I've had it for so long, but you just want to be patient with it because I'm leaving it white. I took my time. I didn't want to bend that chipboard because then it would be permanently creased. So from Midnight, I've got these clear stickers and also these die cut titles, and I'm wanting to find something that's going to work well with the word beautiful. So sort of making my embellishments work for me, really. Beautiful Days was good. Beautiful Together is what I end up with. Just going through to make sure there isn't anything I've missed that is going to work. So I'm sorry about the glare on my photo. That's just from my light. There's nothing I can do about that. That Bloom and Grow was going to get lost in my background. Playing around to see if there's any other position I want to put my title. Thinking about those stickers as well. So this is where I originally had it, and I've gone back to this position. Those chipboard pieces are adhesive. You just peel off the backing, and then you need to, if you want to, and I do, I want to poke through those inner parts of letters. So just using my craft tweezers to do that, and being careful not to pull away the adhesive behind the main word. But if you do that, you can always just use liquid adhesive. You can also paint these chipboard words. You could use watercolors, you could mist them, you could use acrylic paint, you could emboss them. There's a lot you can do, but in this instance I just liked it plain, I think because I had enough color going on. So the dot on the I on the actual chipboard sheet was above the cross on the T, but I like it below. So once again, I'm making my embellishments work for me. And then I am adhering that together with some more dimensional adhesive just to lift it up. So committing now to that floral embossed stamp above my photo. And I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of dimension behind it just to lift it up a bit. So now the fun part, which is embellishing over the mixed media. Just pulling everything that I've got to see if what else I'm going to add. I do realise I need to put my journaling somewhere. Now I could have put it, I don't know, bottom left hand side, bottom right hand side, but I really wanted to use this wreath journaling piece from a cut apart sheet, so I'm fussy cutting around the wreath just really roughly, not as perfect as I did with the embossed stamp, and then just adding my journaling. Not much to say really, except that they love snuggling up in bed with blankets, because I actually honestly don't remember this moment. It would have just been a normal everyday moment and I took a photo because they looked cute. So gluing that in, adding a little bit of dimension on the edge and curling it up. And this is the part that I love, is adding these clear stickers, because they are going to get a bit lost in the busy background, and I love that look. I know some people have said that they find these clear stickers hard to use, but I'm the opposite. I adore them, and I love it when Zoe includes them in a collection. So I'm just placing some of the hearts. I think I'm using the ones from both Happiness and Midnight. I love the saturation of those darker pink roses and or peonies, if they're roses or peonies. Also adding some of the accessory stickers from Happiness. I've got the this is my happy place and a couple of hearts and the word lovely from those phrase words and stickers, and I thought the you are looked great above the beautiful, so you are beautiful together. And then trying to use as much as I can, really. These clear stickers with words on them were perfect for putting onto the actual paper triangles. I think they look really, really adorable. Same with those sketchy floral stickers that don't really have any other colour on them. They're perfect for layering over mixed media. Seeing what else there is. Didn't get any of these ephemera pieces on after all. Certainly tried. I just think they were too big, and I think I had enough going on with my background. Nearly got a heart on there, but decided in the end not to. So what am I doing now? Oh yeah, so I'm adding some black Heidi Swap Colour Shine just because I think it needs it with my journaling and also the black word together. So, excuse me, that is my final little embellishing, and that's my final layout. So I loved playing with this one. Thank you so much for everyone that voted in my poll. This is what I created to enable both a mashup and the use of happiness. Do head on over to the Cocoa Vanilla website and also the Facebook group. Thanks for watching. Take care.